Welcome back. We are coming to you live this morning from Shinnecock Hills Golf Course for the U.S. Open. Building with anticipation, the Department of Justice's IG report into the FBI's handling of the Hillary Clinton email probe will finally be made public today. Politicians on both sides of the aisle bracing for its impact, with much of the attention on former FBI Director Jim Comey and his conduct during the investigation. Joining me right now to talk more about that is Alan Dershowitz. He is Harvard Law Professor Emeritus and author of The Case Against Impeaching Trump. Alan, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, I mean, our viewers want to know if there's going to be ever accountability here. But first, tell us what you're expecting from this IG report when it hits today.
I think we'll see criticism on both sides. I think the IG is neutral, nonpartisan, highly respected. We know that he submitted a draft earlier and that there were some changes in the draft. I hope Congress gets to see the original draft as well as the change draft to see what the changes were and whether they were neutrally done. I think we'll see no assessment of whether or not Mr. Comey's statements had an impact on the election. Perhaps they'll say it had a potential or possible impact. I think it'll criticize Comey for going beyond his role as FBI director, which is supposed to be a silent role, and speaking out so much during the election. Whether it has anything to say about the FBI agents' bias reflected in their private tweets against Trump is questionable, because under FBI regulations, agents are allowed to express both privately and publicly political views about candidates. Now, in this case, they were pretty extreme views, but I doubt we'll see that. I think the big question is whether or not the IG report will have any impact on Trump's legal team decision whether to cooperate with the Mueller investigation or whether to go to the courts and litigate. And it'll depend on whether they think that the report puts Mueller on the defensive or on the offensive. One thing I'm not sure it will cover is the close relationship between Comey and Mueller. They were very, very close, professionally and privately, and that raised questions in people's minds as to whether he was the right choice for the special counsel.
But, you know, Alan, we all know a couple of issues as we remember back to the election year 2016 when these investigations were going on. And Loretta Lynch asked Jim Comey to call this criminal investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails a matter versus a criminal investigation. And that's exactly what he did. There was also a meeting on the tarmac between Loretta Lynch and President Bill Clinton a day before, 2 days before Hillary was supposed to testify. There are other things as well, but are you expecting these things to be scrutinized?
I surely think that the meeting between Attorney General Lynch and former President Clinton will be a subject of discussion. I can't imagine that he won't criticize the Attorney General for the appearance of impropriety, even if there was no actual impropriety. This is a 500-page or so report. It will have a lot of criticism. It also, to me, proves why we didn't need a special counsel. The Justice Department has its own internal mechanisms for investigating. The IG is much more respected and believed today than Mueller is. And they could have easily assigned the case to the Southern District of New York or one other district. They could have used existing professionals, civil servants who are career appointees, instead of spending $20 million appointing somebody to have a target on the back of particular people, which make it seem very political. So I think the IG report will potentially change the nature of the debate.
Alan, it's Mike Murphy. Just when all of these special investigations and all the reports are out, how does the American public get to a point where they trust the FBI and the CIA and where they trust the government again?
It's going to be a very, very hard thing to do. We've seen the politicization of our system of justice to a degree that I've never seen it before. And I do think the IG, to his credit, has done everything in his power to depoliticize and to restore integrity and faith. And I hope that we will see that in the report, the result of the report. Look, FBI agents do a great job on a daily basis. Assistant U.S. attorneys do a great job. These are career people who don't care about the outcome of elections, and we're not partisan. But there are some people, and tragically they were near the very top, that seemed to have very, very extreme views. Look, I don't think that Comey was trying to influence the election either way. I think he thought it was a slam dunk for Hillary Clinton. And since it was a slam dunk, he was going to lean over backwards and prevent any criticism of him by doing everything that the Trump team would say helped him win the election. I don't think he thought he was going to have any impact on the election. Turns out he may or may not have. But you can't be engaging in that kind of political calculation when you're the director of the FBI.
That's absolutely right. Let me ask you how far up the scale you think this goes. There's some suggestion that this was basically a directive from the administration at the time. Do you think some of this is just to protect President Obama? Was anybody making the directive to actually launch an investigation into Trump and also treat Hillary Clinton with white gloves?
Well, you know, we hear that President Trump is wrong for seeking loyalty from his attorney general. President Obama had two of the most loyal attorney generals imaginable, and they were both extremely loyal to Obama. Whether they got directives from the top or whether they just thought on their own that they would like to see the reputation and the, integrity of President Obama furthered by what they did, nobody will ever know. But I think the thumb on the scale of the Obama administration may be one of the things that's pointed to in the IG's report, either explicitly or implicitly.
All right, we will leave it there. Alan, it's always great to get your insights. We so appreciate it. And
Thank you.